move might make your head blow off.
Hey, yo, it's a talk show host, Kana Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, alpha male G-O-D, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good, and welcome to an all-new episode of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter.
It's your boy, 51 Spade, alpha male G-O-D, a.k.a. the ninja you love to hate. I'm in the building.
Yeah, we got two exciting topics tonight. We're going to tackle some current events. We're going to start with W.A.P, W-A.P, standing for wet ass pussy. And we're going to talk about if a relationship can remain the same after a betrayal. I want to dive right into W.A.P, just because the conversation is everywhere. I really want to start because a lot of women are the ones doing most of the talking on social media. So I actually want to get the male perspective on what you think about what W.A.P means to female empowerment or the lack thereof.
I mean, I'm not a woman, so I can't really speak from that perspective. But, I mean, the rap game is a lot hypocritical when it comes to women. So that's where they'll bring in the standpoint of double standards and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I grew up listening to 2 Live Crew, Too Short. Like, they not doing nothing that I haven't heard before. Like, it's just a recycled situation. But what I noticed is that a lot of women, because y'all are in this Me Too movement and I am woman, hear me roar, I've heard backlash where a lot of women be like, it's hypersexual, so we take steps to go forward, and then it's bitches like y'all that knock us down. But I'm also a realist, so I'm like, Cardi B is not no conscious rapper, neither is Megan Thee Stallion. Like, their songs have always been the same. So them talking, so since they're talking about sexual thing and putting dicks in the back of their throat and they got wet pussy and this and that, it's like you want to hear it anyway. Like, I think people want to hear it, but they just want something to complain about. And women, because you have different women that don't look like a Cardi B or don't look like a Megan, so they can't put themselves out there like that. It turns into jealousy and hate. Like, that's the way that I look at it. It's like they don't congratulate women. Women don't congratulate other women just because women are catty. Like, you put 6 women in a room and that shit gonna go bad. Like, that's what half of y'all reality shows are based on. Get 6, 7 fucking women in the room, and that shit gonna go bad anyway because y'all are catty probably by nature.
I think, first of all, on a whole, when I was thinking about it, I think that, not speaking just for men or for women, I think everybody likes their sex more in private. And what made me come to that conclusion was, I'm thinking, like, what is the difference between my favorite porn or going to Pornhub and looking at what turns me on versus having a song like Wet Ass Pussy, which is a song that's very sexual in nature. I don't feel like they're different. I feel like women could sit around each other on their lunch break and share their favorite porn or, whatever.
But have you ever done that? That would be the real question. Like, have you ever been at a workplace and show a coworker your favorite porn?
I didn't say show. I said have a conversation about. Like, I've been plenty of places and the conversation of porn may have come up, and the question is, do you watch porn? Oh yeah, I watch it with my husband. It's just a normal topic. It's a normal thing to talk about. What I'm trying to say is porn is really basic. It's a thing that probably everybody on the planet watches, has looked at before, or with someone, or knows someone who watches it. So I'm trying to figure out what the big deal about a song that's sexual in nature. We don't go around like bashing porn stars. We don't go around like
but I'm
boycotting porn stars, and they're actually spreading it open on film. Why are we bashing Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion for singing about it?
But I'm gonna tell you the difference, though. I'll tell you the difference because we don't hold porn stars to a higher place.
Okay, so why are you holding a pop star or a rap artist to a high place? It's just a profession.
I mean, I can't say why they do it, but what I'm saying, I'm telling you what actually happens. Because when you talk about porn stars don't transcend over into regular acting. Because know why? Because they've done porn. Like, I'm not saying they haven't.
So it's the scarlet letter once you make a
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, it is. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying, like, when we look at porn stars, you're gonna look at a porn star and be like, well, they can't really act. Like, what they do is suck dick, get their pussy fuck on film, and you're not gonna say that they really have skill.
So it's okay because
I'm not saying
you
it's okay.
box them in the lower category of people.
I think people box people in regardless. I think they box them in regardless. So my point of where I'm going with it is when you look at somebody like a Cardi B, they're basically saying, like, you got so many people that follow you. You got so many people that look up to you. You got so many people that do this. Don't degrade yourself to that. Now, my problem with it would be is she ain't a conscious rapper. Like, I've never heard
fuck her not being conscious. She was discovered as a fucking stripper.
Exactly.
She is in her lane. Basically, she is in her lane. And the thing that I respect about Cardi B above anything else is she ain't been nothing but, she ain't tried to be nothing but. I've seen her in concert. Mm-hmm. And the same moves that she did in the club in the Bronx on the pole is the same moves she's doing on stage with 100 million people watching. Mm-hmm. That's who Cardi B is, and she's never pretended to be anything else. So this song really is not outside of her lane, but I think you said something very profound. The climate that we're in. Yeah. We got a woman that's been nominated for vice president. And then we're coming off the Me Too movement. And men and children are looking up to women at a higher standard. I totally get it.
So, and then going a little bit deeper is because that's why I've been brought into double standard. Men are also kind of looked at as like porn stars. Like, we're looked at on a lower level. Like, we're looked at as dogs. We're looked at as we're supposed to do that. Boys will be boys. Men will be men. We fart. We're nasty. We stare at titties. We do those type of things. And as women, we look at them as, hey, we want you to be a little bit more classier. We want you to be a little bit more this and that. And you're right. Like, she didn't ask to get put there. And that's the other thing about, like, people that's in the entertainment business. It's like you might come from a stripper place, or just like not too long ago, recently I was just watching the No Limit Chronicles where Master P was saying, like, telling his brother, hey, don't name yourself C Murder. Don't bring that type of attention to you.
Or that energy.
You don't bring that type of energy. And basically, if you look at it, they're taking the same standpoint of saying, hey, you got a lot of not only women that look at you, but little girls that look at you, right? And they're not wanting her to take that stance. But like you said, she a stripper, and I'm not saying people don't grow. You know what I'm saying? People do grow, but I feel like until she decides to grow and she decides that she don't want to sing about wet ass pussy, this and that, but she's also in a place where she's trying to sell records, and she's more like looking at it saying, like, if I did do conscious rap, or if I did do any of these things, y'all wouldn't be checking for me anyway. You wouldn't be streaming
for me.
Yeah.
But I also want to say this.
They kind of download like her too.
I want to say this. Cardi B is not laid up having premarital sex. She's someone's missus. She's someone's wife.
Now.
She's also a mother. I'm also guessing, because I don't know her personally, I'm guessing that her bank account is lit. I'm guessing that I'm guessing that her credit is good. You understand what I'm saying? It's like you're saying that we see women as higher standard and you shouldn't, but everything we see a woman as far as structure and life, she's got it.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that.
She got real estate. She got a bank account. She got good credit. She got a husband. So let her be as nasty as she want to be. Her husband ain't doing no podcast talking about, I asked her not to do it, and he ain't in no distress over it, and that's his wife.
But it's other women that's actually breaking her down actually way more than the men. Like, I feel like men don't really even give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't listen to female rappers. I don't ride around with female rappers. I don't put them in my goddamn car or do any of that shit. And if I hop in another nigga car and he playing Cardi B, I'm gonna jump about that car. You know what I'm saying? Like, men just don't do that, so we really don't care. So the backlash is actually coming from her own peers, her own women that's just looking at her that just don't want her to do that. And I think that's because when y'all push to go further in this Me Too movement and you saying be a strong woman, women look at other women that use their sexuality and be like, so I'm supposed to feel liberated, but you talking about how far you can put a dick down your throat, and it rubs women the wrong way.
I'll say this because I am more conservative. I think I've been blessed with my upbringing that I can kind of see both sides, because I am a more conservative lady, and I'll tell you the truth. When I'm scrolling IG and I'm scrolling Facebook and the same old hoe is doing the same old shit, saying the same old nasty shit, it does turn you off, because it's like, bitch, do better. But I'm gonna say this.
But why do you stop right there? Why do you say better though? Why do you? I
was getting ready to say that. Okay. You cut me off. I realize that I'm saying that because their bank account ain't like Cardi B's. They're not married. They ghetto. You look at the live video, you look at her ass out, but you also see all the shit that's on the floor, dirty diapers, wipes, the kids crying in the background. It's everything. It's like, who are you to even want to sell sex? And by the way, who's buying sex from you? You don't have it together. It don't look like you got it together. I think that's why I brought up how successful Cardi B is. I mean, you're saying that she's taking women 2 steps back, but really, she's nowhere. She's already 10 steps ahead of all of us. The ones that are talking, I know their bank account can't match hers. The ones that's hating on her, I know their credit score ain't like hers. You know what I'm saying? And most of them are unmarried and fucking complaining and hating on how the next bitch got her set rocking. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but again, I say that to say this. I am one of those people that's like, again, do better. It's like, if you where you need to be, what do I have to bitch about? I have a close girlfriend of mine, which I don't think she's close, but I support her as a dancer and I know her personally. And she's straight be on live, showing her ass. Very pretty girl, but that's not all I know about her. And I know she her car clean, she drive a nice whip, she all about her money. She's always showing the motherly side and commenting on politics, and she's giving me a little bit of everything, kind of like Cardi B does. When something's going wrong in the community, Cardi B speaks about it. If she wants you to rock the boat, she's gonna tell you to fucking rock the boat. So I'm really gonna go pro Cardi B based on everything else she does, and she is someone that I can say, yeah, I don't like how vulgar she is, but I want her bank account. I like her business sense. I want to be somebody's wife. Just like there's more to look at her and look up to than there is to look down about.
That sounds good.
Of course,
it does. It sounds good. I'm gonna say this. I don't personally know Cardi B. You don't personally know Cardi B, and the reason I'm bringing this up is, everything from an outside might look good. You don't really know what a bank account look like. You don't really know what a credit score is. You don't really know. You just assuming that shit. Yeah. Like most artists, like any other artist, she's not fucking special. So she could be one of these artists that's gonna end up on Unsung. Like, you know what I'm saying, years ago.
And but then I'll hate.
You laughing. But
then I'll say,
I'll let you talk. I'll let you talk. Zip it. I'll let you talk. You could assume all these things. She could be one of these hoes that end up on Unsung list, like I said, and pop up like TLC or any one of them that didn't have her bank account and got took by managers or a record company or anything else. You can find out her credit score ain't what it is. Like that is a persona of what they show us, and then people buy into, which we're supposed to. But that doesn't mean that they life go like that. So, and then pointing another thing is, some of the women that I actually am talking about are not what you're talking about. The ones that are complaining are successful women. A lot of them that I've seen are successful women. So I can't even knock that. Now, I'm not saying there aren't women on IG that have those type of things that are going on, but the ones that spoke out that I saw
have their shit together.
They have their shit together. So they're not even speaking from the standpoint. And I just really feel like, because, you know, like one lady was a lawyer. And when you at that point, she feels like I done pushed so far to get right here, you know what I'm saying, that it's kind of crazy for her to look at another woman, even though she might be a freak in the bedroom. And that's where it go as far as like double standards, because even if I look at someone like Luke, I can look at someone like Luke and respect him, because really at the end of the day, even though he was singing about we want some pussy, you know, he fought for our rights to actually say what we want to say. And most people looked at him and say, well, then he just a down south, nasty, foul mouth rapper, this and that. But he had to go to court to fight for that shit. And if it wasn't for him, we'd probably all be fucked up, you know what I'm saying, in a lot of shit. They invented those explicit stickers and stuff like that for him. I specifically remember that growing up, because it got to the point where I was going in stores and just buying songs that had no parental stickers on that shit, and I'm playing it, and we want some pussy come out, and one and all that shit. And then it was like, you have all these conservative people, and I think that's what it really boils down to. We have a lot of conservative people in the United States.
We also have a lot of people like myself who just think this conversation is ludicrous when you have high-paid actresses like Halle Berry showing a rack of titties in a movie. What the fuck is the difference? Guys, Cardi B is an artist. She's singing a song. I can take it a step further. Fuck her, Cardi B the person. Let's talk about Cardi B the artist. That you are a persona, just like you said. That's an act. Every song you sing ain't even about you. It's some shit that rhymes and sound good to the beat, and it's sexual, and let's sell it. That might not even be who this chick is, but we know from what she's shown us, it most likely is. But like you said, we don't even know. So if Halle Berry can be a well-respected actress, wins an Oscar, a very conservative group of people are in that world in general. It's okay to write a nude character into a script, but it's not okay for Cardi B to write a song. It's not the life. It's not like we got video of her child watching her making porn in the house. It is a fucking song. So if she could take us 3 steps back because she made WAP, then Halle Berry took us 10 steps back when she took $1 million to show her tits.
And she did. And you're not the person that you can say yes or no to, because even though you saying that, and like I said, that shit sound good, you could say it's a song all day. But ask C Murder if he agree with that, because that's how they convicted him about his songs. That's how they convict a lot of these rappers.
Art imitates life.
Hold on. He wrote songs and they brought that into court. It's public perception. It doesn't really fucking matter how it go. Public perception, because he's presenting himself as a killer and saying how many persons he shot. He's the person in court right now saying that shit that you saying. It's just a song, and they're saying no, it's not. That's who you are. See what I'm saying? It's a fine line to say that, hey, it's just a song. But when you got rappers that's being convicted based on just that, because I would say, deep in my heart, I would agree with you. I would say, well, shit, is Arnold Schwarzenegger a killer?
Is Denzel Washington a bad
because he make action movies? But it's different strokes for different folks. It's politics and perception. And that's how it gets a little fuzzy, and then shit start going into the realm of it's not fair. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not fair to judge her based on that, because like me personally, I don't give a fuck. I like ratchet shit. I like sex.
It's entertainment.
I want to be entertained. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me from my standpoint. I would say to the women of your peers to take it like that and not necessarily judge her based on that, because that's really, to me, who you talking to. You're actually talking to your own peers that's saying like, hey, we done moved it so far, but just because, like, do you suck dick? Yes, but just behind closed doors, right?
Right. You can do it, but you don't want to hear a song about it.
Yeah. So, and to me, it's like television. Like, you have all kind of varieties and shit like that. Like, I'm not gonna watch Survivor and we out naked in the woods and shit like that, because people gonna say that's art. They're gonna be like, well, they're naked, that's art, and they're blurring it out and shit like that, but it comes on primetime television, you know what I'm saying? But if it was probably all black cast and shit like that, they would probably be changing the narrative of what they saying it normally is. And that's why I said it's perception on how they present it and stuff like that. So I just feel like, one, she's in rap, and two, it's like I don't think she stands for all that stuff, because even in interviews she was like, listen, I talk about sex, and down low y'all are lying, because this is what y'all like to hear. Mm-hmm. And I agree with her. Like, most people like sex. Mm-hmm. Like, it just is what it is. So I don't really care. I mean, I guess we just addressed this just to show y'all different things and different perspectives of how this overall thing look. But I don't even really care. Like, keep doing your thing, Cardi. Keep doing your thing, Megan. And trust me, they not the first. They not the last. After they removed them, there'll be someone else. There'll be someone else. They had Lil' Kim, Nicki, Kaya. The list goes on and on.
Right, and I think too, once you really start nitpicking at songs that inappropriate, you're gonna have to start nitpicking at podcasts that are inappropriate. I'm a woman that sits on a show like Relations, talk about what I've done, do I suck dick? Now, and I'm a conservative person just having a conversation, and the conversation is okay. But when you write lyrics and then put it to a beat, and then you make a visual for it, you're going too far. Guys, it's all the fucking same. You can't cancel one out or close your eyes and be blind to one and then say the other one is offensive. If Cardi B's song WAP is offensive, then so is my job as a podcaster about sex.
And they might feel that way. But my thing is, opinions are like assholes. Everyone got one.
Everybody got one.
At the end of the day, if they view people like that, like we both do this job, mm-hmm. but you could say, hey, you looking at me like Cardi B, and I'm all right looking that way, but like for me, I don't really care about the perception of what they think. It's me. Love it, hate it, whatever, this and that. Fast forward if you have to, turn the page.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. And we're going to turn the page too into our second topic of the evening. Can a relationship remain the same after a betrayal? Can it, Alpha Male?
Sticky. This is a real sticky one. I'm not gonna say it can't survive, but I'm gonna say, what is the betrayal? Because betrayals come on a lot of different levels, where I could feel like it's based on the person, on what that betrayal actually is. Mm-hmm. So I could easily be like, it could pass, but someone could give me a scenario where I might have to rethink my answer. So I would give an example of, like, if I'm with my woman and my woman decides that I was cheating on her. So I give a deeper scenario. I was cheating on her, and then she decides that she want to get me back, and she goes out one night and fuck somebody, but that person that she fucked, she get pregnant. I'm not sure if I could forgive that. You understand what I'm saying? You're telling me to take on a lot because of your one single act. It might have not been nothing. It might have just been sex to you, but now you brought in a whole thing that I have to be reminded of and look at you and say, this child isn't mine. And I'm not necessarily sure I can forgive something like that.
That's good. I mean, I didn't even think of like second and third and fourth level betrayals, because that's what I would say those are.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking more on the surface, but I think if you make a mistake, the initial mistake can be forgiven, but if there's a consequence of that mistake, like pregnancy, that's a betrayal that you probably couldn't forgive, and I would understand why. I thought it was a pretty simple topic. Is a bit more complex because it just depends on the infraction that you commit. But on a whole, if I had to give a no or a yes, the only reason why I'm going to say in most cases no is because when you use a word like betrayal, if you pick that, I already think that the infraction is severe. Mm-hmm. Because if somebody lies to you, that you wouldn't say that was a betrayal. You would say he lied. If someone even cheated, you might be like, he cheated on me. You wouldn't be like, girl, he betrayed me. When you are using a word like betrayed, there's a storyline. There was a Monday and the next Friday and last month. There's a whole bunch that happened to make you name that scenario a betrayal. And what happens when you betray someone, when you do something that big, is that they just don't forget. They don't forget. They continuously remind you of the betrayal. Even if it's 2-3 years old, it's gonna come back up because it is a betrayal. It really, when you say the word, it's like, you betrayed me. And when I say that, I think the best way I can describe what betrayal is for me is you treated me like a stranger. You did something that no one, if you love me, there's no way you made that decision. That it's just hard for me to believe that if you love me, you could betray me. It's almost, you think it's impossible for a person that loves you that much, the way you think they love you, to betray you in a way. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's weird because I don't have a significant example, but it's kind of like, if you love me, there's no way you could betray me. So when you betray me, it's something that just doesn't go away. You just can't forgive it and never bring it up again.
I understand.
Okay.
Sounds good. Not in a bad way. It does sound good. But see, the thing about betrayal, I'm going to show you, it's different levels to this. So, like how you just said, like, you know, you just lied, so that's not betrayal. I look at lying as betrayal for me. Because what I often tell people is, if you reverse it, you want me to walk through the fire if I lie. You know what I'm saying? You want to know the details or whatever it did. Let's say if I cheated, or let's just not even say I cheated. Let's just say I was hanging out with somebody. You just want me to tell you the truth. And if I omit it or I hold back certain things, it's still me lying. You understand what I'm saying? So if I reverse it and it's you, and you just say, like, a lot of times women will say shit like, well, I didn't fuck him. What the fuck does not fucking them have to do with you spending time with them, or on the phone with them, or texting them, or telling him things about me that's supposed to be in our household? You know how many times, like, women will be saying shit and they think like men, and I often tell women, a lot of men are girls, and when you see other men out and they know things, they act like that. They act just like bitches, and they let you know that they in your game room. So just because you ain't fuck them and you just holding a conversation don't mean that you didn't betray me. So I'm going to hold you way more accountable for that shit. Like, if you did that, you might as well fuck them, because that's how far I'm going with it. If you spending that amount of time, you let somebody in my game room, you texting good morning, hi, how you doing, you beautiful, and you answering and shit like that, that's betrayal to me.
Yeah. I get it. I think the only reason why I gave the opposite example is because when that issue is confronted, you don't sit down with your girl. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about in general. People are not going to sit down with their girl and be like, hey, you betrayed me. They be like, you lied to me. So even though you look at it as a betrayal, when you use the word betrayal, no one's going to ask you, no one's going to say, well, what made it a betrayal? Nobody. When you say that to your homeboy, yo, she betrayed me, they're not going to expect the story to be, well, she lied to me about getting home 2 hours late. That ain't no fucking betrayal, nigga. They gonna tell you to chill. She just lied, and she omitted. I'm not taking away from how you feel about it, because it's severe. When someone lies to you, it's severe to you, and I don't want to take that away from you. But what I'm saying for our audience, on a bigger scale of things, I think when everybody uses that word, it's much more than just a lie. It might be several. It's more than one time you cheated. It was several. For you to use that word is what I'm saying. And the reason why I'm being specific is because I think that word kind of changes everything and makes our debate a little deeper now, because there's been plenty of times we talked about lying and cheating. This is different. We're talking about someone betraying you, and we're asking you, can your relationship stay the same? I think if someone lies to me about what time they got home, I'm going to stay. I think if somebody betrays me, I might have to think about it. So you can lie to me and I'll stay in the relationship. You might be able to cheat and I might stay in the relationship. But if you betray me, then lie is not singular and neither is cheat. Those words are automatically plural.
But that's why you would have to know the individual. And that's the thing about, like, that's the thing about men and women, because, or just individuals, we see shit a little bit different. So even though you saying a lie is not to you, you still have to look at your mate and know that. So I'm gonna say for me, it's like I have a thing with lying. If someone accused me of a liar, you're telling me like I'm scared of you. Like, and that's how I feel. Like when women say shit like to
you
me,
a liar.
You basically saying like I'm afraid of you, and I'm not that person. So when you ask me some shit, you better be prepared for whatever answer I give, because I'm willing to walk through the fire. Now my question gonna be, are you willing to walk through the fire? Because when I ask you a question, I don't want to hear some fluffed up version of what you think in your mind is, because that's the thing about certain people. It's like, if you ask a person have they cheated, they give like a second level like answer to that shit. Well, I was already out of a relationship, or he already had cheated.
When the answer is just yes.
Yeah, and that's why I always say like yes or no.
No, yeah.
Like that, when you go into it with an explanation, to me, you already know you in the wrong. That's why you starting to give an explanation. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was a kid growing up, my dad didn't want to know all these fucking excuses or any of this type of shit. Did you take it out? Yes or no? He didn't want to hear no fucking, well, I woke up late and I got distracted and I was hungry and I was about to, I was, the answer is no, I didn't take it out.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I hold my mate accountable to. The answer that I want to know is the direct answer. I don't want to know a fluffed up version on what you think it is, because me and you don't think alike. So you can't say that my level of what it is and your level is the same, because individually think different. If someone is a kleptomaniac, they don't feel like they stealing. You understand what I'm saying? They just grab shit just to be grabbing shit. They might be diagnosed with some shit, but guess what? In a courtroom, they just gonna say, you
a thief.
Did you steal that? Yeah. They're not asking, are you a kleptomaniac?
Right.
They asking, did you steal anything from out this store?
Yeah.
Not, I have a condition. Not, you understand? And to me, that's how certain people act.
Yeah.
It's like you ask them a question and they start giving shit like, you know what I'm saying? Like you a cereal and I need the directions on the box or some shit like that to get the correct answer. I want to know the correct answer. So when it boils down to betrayal, a lot of times, some people can maneuver around the shit because some people look at things a little bit different. So they might not feel like they betrayed you. But do you know your partner enough to say, I did betray him? Or, like I said, holding that conversation and say, well, that was a white lie and I consider that a white lie. Or that was a major lie. Or you cheated on me and I don't look at cheating that way. That shit is so shaky, it can go a lot of different ways. So that's why I said, like, you would have to know your mate. You would have to actually know like what they think. And sometimes deep down, I think you do know. Like, that's why the excuses come into play.
Yeah, that's where the lies and going around the corner and back around again, because you already know how your partner feels about it to begin with. So there definitely has to be a more transparent dialogue and not the worry of getting in trouble. But that's a different subject.
So let me ask you this. So the topic is, does the relationship,
can the relationship remain the same?
So how do you feel? Do you feel like after someone done betrayal, does it stay the same? Can it stay the same?
I think that's all up to me. I think that's up to the individuals involved in a relationship. And I say that with the rawest part of me, because some things can happen to you that you just are choosing not to forget or forgive. You don't want to forget and you don't want to forgive because you have a even deeper issue with what's going on than you've even shared with your spouse. Maybe it be a baby mama, or they cheated one time, or whatever. You have a deeply rooted issue, and so you've chosen not to forgive and not to forget. And by that I mean you might stay in the relationship, but you do something and 6 months later that shit come up. You do it and a year later that shit come back, slap you at 2 years later, 5 years later. She has chosen to stay in the relationship, but she's also chosen to remind you that it was a large betrayal on your behalf. And you know it's a large betrayal because she hasn't let it go away. So your question to me was, how do I feel? I feel like if my relationship has a lot of value, and I know I use that a whole lot. If my relationship in most cases makes me happy. The guy is valuable. He got his shit together. He's handsome. I mean, there's more pros than there is cons. I'm gonna box it up, wrap it in gift wrap, put tape on it, bow, and put that bitch under the tree 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I have to, because my happiness is more important, and I understand that if I keep stabbing him with that betrayal, I'm probably pushing him further and further out the door, or I'm just creating an environment that's not happy. I'll be honest, a lot of times I've started an argument and 10 minutes in wish I didn't, because I realized that in that 10 minutes I said enough or did enough to fuck the energy up so bad that the rest of my day is fucking screwed. My day is screwed, his mood is screwed, I'm screwed, dinner ain't gonna be the same. It just kind of knocks off the energy of everything. So I have, in my life, have made the conscious decision that once I've talked something out with my spouse and I've said I forgive you, it's dead. And I'm not perfect. So if I'm about to bring it back up, I will set a disclaimer first. Like, look, I know we already talked about this, and I'm not bringing it back up as a jab. I'm bringing it back up just to make a point. I'll even set that disclaimer before I do it, because I don't want to disturb the work that we've done. When you have an argument with somebody, you're working. And when you work it out, you're working. And when it's diffused and you forgiven, that's called relationship work. So whenever you throw stuff back at your spouse, all the work you just did goes out the window, in my opinion.
That shit sound good, but a lot of women won't do that. You know, a lot of times when you hurt a woman or you betray a woman, they won't let it go. You know, and to me, the answer to that would definitely be like, it's not gonna be the same. The second and level third questions depending on what goes on about the betrayal. So with that being said, a lot of times it's like, even though they say they forgive, the biggest part of that is they don't forget. So when arguments come up like later on, that's why the argument is so intense. Is because that part of the argument she still had from the last argument.
Locked and loaded, ready to go.
She already had that locked and loaded.
Right.
And that's why a lot of times I'll be like, you know, depending on what you did, and if you know your spouse, you already know my saying, you might as well just move on. And like I said, it also depends on what you did. You get what I'm saying? Like when I gave the scenario about, you know, like she having a baby, but let's just flip it around and let's just say I had it. See, this is something now that's gonna become a little touchy feely, because you might be upset and you might be mad and you might forgive, but now you really can't say anything about my son or daughter that's gonna affect.
So once I forgive you, what you're saying is now I don't want to hear, oh, you got to go pick up that old ragged ass baby you had with that bitch.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
like that coming up is gonna because now that's my child. You understand what I'm saying? So even though I made a mistake, it does not give you the right to call my child out their name.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I said, like, it just depends on the infraction. Like if it's something that's like real minor or small, you know, I could see things moving on and progressing, and because there are always times where people could be like, you know what, that was fucked up, just don't let it happen again. I had a bad scenario in my past relationship and it triggers me, and sometimes people can get past shit like that because that person didn't know that's how you feel about that. Now, when you run into shit like that, that is something that most couples ain't gonna talk about, having a baby on somebody else, because I'm not saying it don't happen, but nobody is foreseeing that. And then once it come up, it's like you putting this person in a stuck scenario, wandering around in their mind. Let's just say, for instance, like she always wanted a child and now you had a child with somebody else. You see what I'm saying? She might resent you for that scenario. So if you ain't willing to be like, you know, you're like, well, shit, I just had a baby, I can't get you pregnant. You understand what I'm saying? And now it's just all kind of heat.
I'm glad you brought that up, because whether a woman, and I'll speak from a woman's perspective, at this moment in time, I feel like a woman can only do so much on her own with what she has inside. how she feels about you, how valuable her relationship. The rest is up to you. I feel like men make big fucking mistakes and they don't know how to be sorry every day. They say sorry one time and ask you to forgive one time and then ask you don't bring the shit back up, and then the next day they wake up, they act like they didn't fuck up. I have a big, huge problem with that. And it took me a while to come to that because I'm like, well, do I have to do all of the self-work and the relationship work and the pros and the cons? I'm a worker and I don't mind doing the work, but I don't want to do all the work by myself. I don't want my partner to fuck up and just say, okay, she forgave me, and then it's just back to your same old routine. If someone betrays me, I'm not talking about a simple lie or a simple one-night cheat. I'm talking about if you betray me, I need you to be sorry for your betrayal every single day. Does that mean kiss my ass? Absolutely not. I don't like a beta male. I like an alpha male. And there's still a way for an alpha male to be sorry every single day for betraying somebody. You could be a very powerful guy and still show your woman that, you know what, I know I fucked up and I know what I have in front of me. And you can do things every day to show her that. And that makes it easier for the woman to forgive a betrayal. Because her guy is showing her every single day how much she means to him. So I think more of the work needs to become also the man's priority. To also do more than just, hey, I'm sorry, I fucked up, can you forgive me? And by the way, if you should forgive me, don't bring the shit back up no more. Like, it's kind of like
I got you, fellas.
A double-edged sword. It's like you're sorry and not sorry at the same time. Yeah, you're sorry, but I don't want to hear about this shit no more. That you betrayed me. So forgive me if I have to bring it up a couple more times. Forgive me if I want you to be sorry a little bit more than one fucking day, one dinner, or one flower, or one, you know what I'm saying? One nice gesture that you made over a betrayal. That would be my issue.
Unless you married a beta, that's the only way you're going to get that.
Wow.
I understand.
So now I have to settle.
You got to settle. You don't have to settle. You just can't be with that individual. And I'm gonna tell you why. The thing about women, you know, and they be sounding like you. You know, like a lot of women be like,
what does that mean?
They be sounding exactly like you. Like, you know, I want you to be sorry more than one day and this and that. Like, really get like well, okay, we finna literally cover all these questions. You know what I'm saying? Cover all this doubt. My thing is, I don't have to be sorry every fucking day of that I'm there. We can be adults and have an adult conversation and sit down and air everything out. You know what you talking about? That's the reason I'm bringing that up. It's like, I think what you don't take into equate is like you are a woman. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna give an example of a thing like men. Men get into like arguments sometimes with their homeboys, a lot of times, and sometimes the shit get real heated, and sometimes it get to a fist fight. But that fist fight is why we settling it right there. You understand what I'm saying? Because it ain't gonna be no later on or this and that. Like, we handle it like right there, and it's the equivalent to what I'm talking about as far as like sitting down with you and having the conversation on you airing out your grievances and me airing out my grievances. I don't have to go through this shit like every day. Like, I know what a jab is and I know what it is. And even though you say, hey, I want you to feel sorry, no, you want him to grovel every day. And I'm not and yes, you do. Yes, you do. You want him to grovel every day, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not gonna get from an alpha male. Like, if you want that, you need to get an omega, get a beta, because that's the only way you gonna get that. Like, once I say like what it is, this and that, like, there is nothing that's gonna change from the explanation or what happened of why I gave it. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm saying like I'm sorry, or listen, I'm sorry, I apologize, it won't happen again, like, this is sincerely deep from me of what I'm telling you. Now, if we talking about second level, third questions, like later on down the line, the reason those come up is because that is something is a woman that you thought of in your mind that you didn't get out in that conversation when you was right then and there. I would tell women, if you don't want to hold that conversation right there, that you need time to think before y'all have an argument, then I wouldn't have it right then and there. things pop up in y'all head, and which make you matter. I know this because that's the type of person I am. When I have arguments with people, there are things in my mind that sometimes I be like, you know what?
Fuck, I forgot.
She didn't say why this happened. You understand what I'm saying? But then I feel like, see, if I bring this up, you see what I'm saying? I should have got this out written down. And I'll just swallow and be like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? She here. She could have actually went with him, or, you know, whatever the case might have been happening. In this aspect, I'm talking about if she cheated or whatever, this and that. I'm going to have to look at that and be like, well, if she wanted him, she'd be in here. Because that's the same thing a woman going to do. You know, do you love her? No. Why'd you cheat with her? Listen, I was bored. I was drunk. Whatever the case may be. Like, that answer is not going to change like a week from now or a month from now. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
My point of like always bringing it up, like, I feel like you're right. I can show you that I love you, but I can't be sorry every day. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, I can show you that I care for you. I can show you that I love you, but I'm not going to be sorry every day. Like, once I address it, and I feel like I'm gonna speak now from an alpha male standpoint. You gonna find what I think what women don't take is in that space that he's in, which is a vulnerable space. That is the space that you rarely gonna see. Don't milk it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, once he's giving that up, don't milk that for more than what it is, because now it's gonna turn past him showing you his vulnerable side, and it's going to turn into something else after that, because you're poking the bear. It's like, you're sorry, I don't think you're sorry enough. You know what I'm saying? Grovel a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Please get on your knees a little bit more. And I'm talking about, like, is he a man? Because women can cry and be in corners and do all these type of things that, you know, your heart is broke. But I'm talking about just a man. A man isn't going to do that. I'm not saying it's right, but he's not.
Okay, and that's clear. And I don't expect an alpha male to cry and mope. I'm not saying that. Clearly, I know what I like. I know what I like about alpha men. And when I said there's something you could do, or I wanted you to be sorry every day, I didn't mean literal. I didn't mean, hey, you know, you need to come to me and say, hey, remember, you know, I cheated on you. I know I cheated on you, and I'm just here to apologize again. I didn't mean that. I mean making a conscious effort to just be a better man and making that evident. Like, if the behavior that led you, let's say we're talking about cheating. If the behavior that led you to cheating was staying out to 3 a.m. because you gamble, and then usually when you done gambling, you go to the strip club, then those behaviors that led up to you cheating have to change. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying stop what you're doing, but you have to say the behaviors that led me to cheat on my wife, I need to show her that those behaviors are also changing, or that I recognize those things as triggers to cheating. And that's just like a drug addict saying, hey, I have a trigger when I see people drinking, then I want to go smoke crack. So you make a conscious effort in the home and in the environment not to drink. It is the same shit. Like, that's what I mean by showing her that you're sorry every day. Changing your playground. Changing the friends you playing with. Changing the bad habits. Not just being sorry for fucking up. What led you to the fuck up? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying literally just say sorry to me. Be sorry and make the effort to be better and make it evident. That's all I'm saying. Because that is really going to make the difference between me saying, hey, can I forgive the betrayal, or can't I? Because if you're doing some of the same shit that led to the betrayal, how can I forgive the betrayal when you're doing the same shit that led to the betrayal in the first place? For me, I'm going to say I'm setting myself up for failure if I forgive this betrayal, because he's doing all the same shit that led up to the betrayal to begin with.
Sounds good. I think the one thing that you're missing is this. And this is for the audience. This is definitely for women to listen to this, because I often hear women. I'm actually glad you brought that up. The thing about with women that trip me out is this. They get into a relationship with someone that's a drinker, and then be 2-3 years in and be like, stop drinking. Or be like, your drinking caused this and that. Or someone that does coke. Or someone that's a weed head or this and that. Like, you chose that shit. Like, because you don't do it, you make it seem like it's easy for that other person just to stop what's doing it. If gambling is a problem, like I'm not a gambler, but I can't tell a gambler how to stop fucking gambling. If they lose their house, if they lose their car, and I have family members that's in my family that's gamblers, that's lost shit, and no one in the family could figure it out. And it's a bunch of smart people in my family, and we can never fucking figure it out. When someone have an addiction to this and that, they have to want to help themselves. That has nothing to do with you. So now it boils back down to, can things be the same, going back to our topic? If you look at that as a betrayal, that's one of the reasons why I was saying you might need to move on. Because things won't be the same, because this is what's in your head. And you're going to be sitting there hoping and wishing, damn, I wish he didn't drink. Damn, I wish he didn't do coke. Damn, I wish he didn't gamble. I ran away. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like in White Men Can't Jump. Like, her issue was Billy had a gambling problem. If he was ever in that type of scenario, the scenario was gonna be the fucking same every time. And her main decision was, she realized it's always gonna be that.
Yeah.
That's why she left.
Yeah.
And he's tried to blame it on Wesley Snipes' character. No, that's who he is.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered whether Wesley talked him to it or somebody else talked him into it. He is who he is. So for women, I would say you gotta recognize that. If you feel like that's a betrayal to you and you sitting there trying to blame it on liquor, weed, coke, gambling, any of that shit, you need to look at yourself and you need to pull yourself up out of that. Because when you don't have the addiction, you can't. It's easy for somebody to be like, well, just go cold turkey. Really? Is that simple? Motherfuckers going spending millions of dollars to go to AA and all this type of shit, or being court ordered because it's that simple? It's not that simple. So I get where you coming from. I totally get it. But it ain't black and white.
Right. It does boil down to the person. The question was based on the actual betrayal itself. And not the actual person. Is it what he did, or is it who he is? That might be a question you ask yourself. Make sure you leave a comment and a question for me, and you can find me on Facebook, IG, and Twitter at Kana Lassiter.
Hey, holla at your boy on both platforms, IG and Twitter. You're looking for the shirts, Alpha Male God Creation, and like I always say, peace. And for all of y'all on Podbean, I want to thank y'all for listening, and it's been another good episode.
Yeah.